It's my first international exhibition. I've shown nationally a few times, but looking forward to this exhibition in Paris, and being a solo exhibition, it's a good opportunity to show a really cohesive body of work. The exhibition is called X, EX, and it's the idea of out of. And for me, this was a body of work that was about the transformation and shifting states and materials to something other. So these are new works. They're still part of the xylem series, which is the idea where plants draw water through their stems. So they've got that premise of oversaturation with the resin. So they're really resinous. They've got a very translucent feel to them. And they sit within that biological sphere of the macro-micro. So it looks like you're possibly a scientist examining a glass plate or something. So you're actually looking into that cell body. At least that's what I feel when I look at the works. So the mediums I use are really varied and wide, but basically they encompass chemicals, pigments, resins, dyes, and what happens is these sort of mixed media are caught and trapped within that layer of resin as it's setting. So a lot of the time I'm injecting into that top layer, that translucent layer of colour, and those pigments or materials react, and they actually transform and are trapped in that layer. Work is an experiment in its own right. I can't replicate anything I do, but I suppose that experimental aspect of the process is what drives the work. It's that fundamental clash of materials, and then you're left with a finished work. And I think that's as close as I get to being a scientist, but having that experimental aspect of the work enables the works to be a surprise to me as the artist. So in a way I become a facilitator or an enabler of the materials, and that's what keeps me engaged with the work, and particularly the body of work as they develop, because when I open the doors to the studios two days later, I can see that shift in materials, and I can see the reactions that have formed and what's been caught in the surface of those works. What I'm looking forward to is a real global response, and especially Paris being the hub that it is, seeing the reaction from the Parisians, and in terms of where the work sits and how they feel, how they perceive the work. It'd be interesting to see how that new audience reacts with the works, because they're so different. They're so incredibly quite visceral. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. And then I suppose just being in Paris and talking French, you know, I think that's going to be fun.